In-ground fire pits are the most requested thing that I get from clients. Everyone wants a place to sit and relax around a fire. In this chapter, I'm going to show you how you can install your very own modern in-ground fire pit. I'm going to teach you how to choose a perfect spot for your fire pit, how to properly measure your dig line, then actually dig it out, install it, and finish it with some seating. First things first, when you're thinking about putting in a fire pit, look at your space as a whole and think about how you use it. Do you have pets that like to run? Do you have children that like to run? Do you have a garden bed? Anything that you already have that you need a space for, kind of think about pulling it away from there. An in-ground fire pit needs to be its own precious little moment. When choosing the space for your fire pit, you also want to keep in mind where you want to leave room for future potential. My friend Jennifer has a beautiful outdoor space that she's invited us over to. She loves to entertain and have people over. So we wanted to give a little bit of definition from her outdoor dining area. And so we're going to be putting a fire pit in about this area, mainly so we're not taking up the rest of the yard. I think when you put a fire pit in the dead center of a yard, it sort of eliminates a lot of possibilities for the future. Also a huge consideration is that you've got enough room for seating around the fire pit. It's not going to be very useful if you put the fire pit somewhere where you can't sit down next to it. And you want to be able to sit down safely. So give yourself a couple feet at least of space between the fire pit and your chairs. So the fire pit that I chose for here was influenced by the house itself. Jennifer is sort of modernizing the exterior of her home, so I wanted to have a more modern fire pit. I chose a very simple steel ring. It's a 38-inch, which is small enough for this area that it's not going to take up the whole thing, and then it's a little bit more intimate. If you don't love the idea of having an in-ground fire pit, but you do love the idea of having a place where you can gather around a fire, I am a big proponent of chimeneas. Or there are a lot of really cool above ground fire pits that are even gas powered if you would prefer to have that hardwired in. For me, the benefit of an in-ground fire pit versus an above ground fire pit is that it gives it more oomph. It actually feels like it's a moment that was built in. In-ground fire pits are easy to install, low on maintenance, and in theory, you could get all the supplies delivered directly to your home, or you could just pick them up at your local home improvement store. Things that we will need for this particular in-ground fire pit: a wheelbarrow, a shovel, an all-purpose flour, and I will show you why. This is our steel fire pit. It comes in 3 pieces at this size, and it is very heavy. So that's why I brought it in pieces. If you need help, if you get a larger size or anything, just make sure you get a friend to help you do this. The reason why I have it here is because I think it'll be a really sweet spot. It's not taking up a big part of the yard. I also kind of decided to anchor it against this stump. Rather than taking out this stump, I thought it was a good opportunity to let that be where the wood is stacked, and then also allow the client to even chop their own wood right there. In order to draw the line that you're going to be starting your dig at, you can do something where you take a piece of string with a nail, put it around the nail, hammer the nail exactly into the center of the ring, and then take it around with like landscape chalk, which you can spray and then it will wash away. But I'm gonna be using all-purpose flour to make our dig line. So you don't have to use flour. This is just something I always have laying around because I like to eat my feelings. You can also use sand, if you've got gravel or even dirt from some of the landscaping that you've already put in, you can make a line that way. I do it around the inside and I'll do it around the outside just to give myself that hard line. Look at that. Now now that we have the stencil for our fire pit, we're going to take our shovel and actually dig everything out so we can install the fire pit into the ground. You can get any sort of tape measure or anything like that to measure your depth. You can also take your actual shovel and see that this is it's about that much higher than the shovel itself. So once we really start getting into the dig, our shovel itself can kind of be our guide as to how far down we go. For this particular one, I'm gonna have the lip popping out of the ground a little bit. I just think that it creates a more modern look and doesn't make it look like you just have a total hole in the ground. It kind of shows that you had some purpose. I'm gonna move my dirt away from the edges itself of where we're gonna slide the ring. Let's see if it fits. Yes. It's beautiful. Oh, I love it. I think it's important for your fire pit to be level, just so you're not directing the fire in one specific direction. Let's keep it moving up, and it just looks better. So we're gonna put some sand at the bottom of this fire pit. All that does is it helps evenly distribute the heat throughout the entire ring. You could just throw the logs in, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the sand as an extra step. Now that we've finished the fire pit, let's go ahead and create the special moment with seating. There are so many options when it comes to seating around your fire pit. Maybe you want to put logs around it to have your guests sit on for a more camping type vibe. Maybe some big colorful floor pillows for a more boho vibe. I've seen hammocks strung up from trees. Whatever it is, just make it your own. In this particular area, we're going to put black Adirondack chairs. I feel like it kind of goes with the siding on the house and the black color, the modern vibe of this particular fire pit. However you want to use this, make it your own. Have fun. We wanted to keep things clean, and we wanted to stay with the overall aesthetic of the house and the rest of the exterior pieces that Jennifer has chosen. So that's why we're gonna go ahead and leave this as is, and I think it's actually real chic. After today, you now know how to choose a space for your fire pit while leaving room for future potential, how to install an in-ground fire pit, and how to finish it off with comfortable seating. I'm super excited with how it turned out, and you'll definitely be finding me and Jennifer out here later enjoying a sweet fire. See you next time.